Alright, hello Danky. So this is Swiftwater. For Swiftwater, I'm gonna talk about the map in general, just from an attacking side and a defensive side for like goals as a team, and then I'll get into the spy stuff a little bit more. So as the attacking side, I mean I think it's kind of self-explanatory, but I think a lot of players don't really realize it. The primary goal is to cap the cart as fast as possible. And to make it even simpler, it's capping the point as fast as the first, like each point as fast as possible. And there are different strategies um and different ways to do that, but a lot of the times it revolves around having cart pressure as a team while also taking advantages in other places. But I'll run through each point pretty quickly in the traditional setups for teams. For the first point, most teams hold in the tunnel defensively, and the card is usually pushed pretty freely by the opposing team. If there's ever any resistance from the defensive team, they'll usually come out of the house and contest around this slope area, looking to stall the card a couple seconds. There's not much to do on first for either team. For the second point, a lot of teams like to exchange up here in attic or upper, and they play the shutter a lot. And a lot of the combos exchange and shutter. Meanwhile, what happens? The flank and usually the sniper go tunnel, and they look to get the cart to about here, and then from this point to up to the actual cap, there's not. It's really hard to get it out because there's usually a leveled gun, and the defensive team has a lot of high ground advantages. So usually what you have to do is you have to get the cart pressure pretty close. Like, I mean, you need to be able to get the cart here, and then where you can put pressure on it, that it requires the players in the high ground to drop down. This is a recurring theme in this entire map, is that basically the attacking side wants to get enough cart pressure, whether that's through your spy, your scout, your team, maybe a pistol steel heavy, anybody getting the cart really close that they have to drop down off the high ground. They have to give up their advantageous position, and they have to challenge you at a lower ground or more even footing. Um, and ultimately, if you cap the point, their team has to back up to the next defensive position. So every point matters, and capping each point as fast as possible is pretty much the way to win the map. For third, it's the same thing. You get the cart about to this choke point. I mean, you'll be pushing carts to different chokes, and then you'll be waiting for exchanges and small positional errors, picks to make space and cap it. The defensive team likes to hold up here on this platform, and you want to be able to force him down. So a lot of the time, Spy can hide behind the cart. He can go in during pushes and help, etc. And you just want him to have to drop down and contest you guys and make them make mistakes, because if they're getting pushed from like a push over here in red room, in the meantime, the cart's being pushed, they have to make a decision. Do they want to challenge this fight, or do they want to clear the cart? And usually the answer is to clear the cart, but then they're in a worse position because they're now on the low ground while your team now has the high ground. So again, primary way to win. The next choke for the cart is normally about here or here. It kind of moves, but this is the first point on the entire map where it's pretty open, and it's a little bit harder for spy here. But yeah, this point is less about cart pressure. I mean, obviously it still matters. You got this really big slope to push the cart up, but normally you just want to be able to get your team onto the high ground, which is this big platform here, and control it, forcing their team to go down into this little slope area. The defensive team just wants to make sure they hold this as much as possible, and try not to get pushed back. And if they do get pushed back, they want to be able to take it back really quickly and not get bottlenecked here and lose. For last, the next choke is about here or here. And this point is the one where you really see the cart pressure come into effect, because this is the final point. I mean, this is the one where the map ends. Your time is officially dictated by this point. So a lot of teams will offensively take an Uber through this room or through the other side, and the opposing team will be holding here, denying the cart. And while that happens, or a little bit after that happens, the cart will be pushed, and as the cart gets closer and closer, a player has to drop down into like what is essentially a death little valley. Like your entire team can sit here and just shoot them, and you just slowly whittle their numbers away until you have a huge numbers advantage, and then you cap the cart. So that's kind of the general idea of this point in this map is, using cart pressure to your advantage and forcing the defense to make decisions that they might not want to do, put the defense in a worse position, and slowly capitalize and get player advantage and numbers advantage till you eventually can cap the point completely. That's the general overview. I'm going to go through the attacking side for Spy first, through all the points. Actually, I'll do them one at a time. I'll do each point at a time. So we'll start with attack, though. Uh, for Spy here, uh, you can pretty much choose to go with pretty much stock. I usually go with stock on first point. Maybe I'll run an Enforcer for a later point, just having it out. But Spies have pretty much two jobs on first attack. Obviously, your general stuff, you want to call if the sniper's in a different spot. If any players are in a different spot, you want to make sure you comment. You have the best way to get information. Call any sticky traps you see while you're approaching this, and usually your job is to clear the house. You can take different routes and clear the house, but sometimes players will hide a sniper up here or a heavy up here, and you got to work with your flank and your team to make sure you get this heavy out of here before they can drop down and really stall the cart. So clearing the house is normally the primary objective of Spy. The other option you have if their team doesn't really put players in house is to try and get through. Getting through is really tough. Doing it with stock is even tougher. Pyrus sometimes will sit here and flame the entire doorway, and you can't even cross. If you have to cross, you have to cross with Spycicle and just continue to run and not look back. But if you can get behind, it's pretty good. There are a couple different spots you can play on second, and you can definitely harass and look for aggressive picks early. I think we talked a little bit about it in Upward, but attack is the time to play for risks, play for more hero plays. The more coordinated you can be, the more chance you have a chance to get them. But sometimes you're in a great position, like you're able to get to this corner, and maybe you just walk the corner and look for a pick. I mean, an NG pick is huge here, a medic pick is huge here. Just if you can get behind before the point is even capped or before they're backing out, it's pretty solid. So definitely go for it. But that's mostly attack spy. Most of the biggest two jobs you have on attack spy on first point is just clear the house if you're told, and try and get behind them in tunnel and get anything you can. So for defense spy, there's a different loadout I run. Most defense spy, pretty much going to be sticking with this loadout here. This is pretty much what I play almost the entire defensive spy whenever I have to play it on most payload maps, is I run Cloak and Dagger, Spycicle, and Revolver. On the first point, all you do on the first point is just give information. Sometimes, rarely, if you want to add it to your playstyle, you can play aggressive when it gets to the slope with a teammate, or just look for solo picks on the cart. I don't usually recommend this. I don't like playing this way. I don't have a lot of success with it. I much prefer to stay alive and to communicate where their team's rotating when they bring players out. But you can give it a try in scrims. If you do it, maybe communicate with your scout and say, "Hey, scout, do you want to go on the cart now?" If you are gonna go for it, calling the scout out when the cart's about at the base of the slope is the best time, because you want to decloak maybe from here or from here, and look for any picks on the cart you can get just to slow the cart time down as much as possible. And if you can survive and do that, that's amazing. Most of the time you die. They have usually about 4 players on this cart, so it's pretty risky. But if you get the picks and survive, I mean, great. But I don't really like to play for the picks. A lot of the times I choose a high ground position, and I'm sitting here. This spot's okay. I'm sitting here cloaked, with my Spycicle out again. You always want to have Spycicle out just in case you get hit by a random flare. You don't want to be caught out. So, I'm sitting here. I'm calling exactly where the sniper's at. Sniper's peeking left side. He's coming towards this log here. You see the log there. He's peeking the fences or whatever here. He's peeking tracks. This is a very common peek angle he'll play on the cart. He's peeking the tracks. He's peeking here at the cart. Sniper's on the cart. And calling sniper is really important. The other thing you can do is calling bombs. If you see the demo, Some things I'll say is like demo soldier on roof. A lot of the times the demo soldier will jump on this roof here and try and clear it. So basically the beginning I'm just calling sniper, calling demo bombs and soldier positions. If the sniper goes river here or this water, he can do this weird little jump shot where you can actually stay scoped in and you can jump here and look into here. So make sure this is called out. So the sniper's going for the water shot or he's in the water. Warn your team. Have a sense of urgency when you call it too. If the sniper's really in an aggressive angle looking to get a pick on the medic, and you need to make sure he hears it. So you can get louder, say it a couple times, just making sure the team knows. Better safe than sorry. Um, when I'm holding defense on first, some spots I like are anywhere here is fine. I like, a little bit further back. I like to usually have some cover with me if I'm gonna call. Um, you know, just different positions. You want to be able to rotate to cover as you go up in rank. Players get better and better at spy checking in passive time, and they will just spam things. Like sometimes you might play here, and if it's a common spot, like they just might shoot their pistol here, and if you get flashed, I mean, they know where you are, and it can make it harder for you to hide a lot of the time. So, I usually play an angle that I can kind of duck behind some cover. Maybe I'll even spot from the window or something, etc. There is one really good spot that I should show you, and it's this one. On up here is a really, really great spot. This is pretty much my default spot if we make a huge mistake on first on the defense and your medic gets dropped. What I usually do for me when I play this point, I like to come here and play, anywhere here, whether it's on this slope, on this roof of the house, anywhere on this platform, and then just calling things. I think it gives you a really good angle to see around this big tree in the middle. You can see exactly where the sniper is, everything. And then, I just kind of adjust accordingly. If nothing happens, you want to dodge the people that clear the house, get to a safe space, continue to call. If, the worst case scenario happens and your medic gets dropped, you're able to quickly rotate to this position on this balcony. And a lot of the times what you can do is as soon as you call the medic leaving spawn, as soon as you see him, you should always call him and say, hey, the medic's out of spawn now. You can actually use it when he's walking down this little grassy area and decloak and go for a jump stab on him on the staircase or the platform. I've gotten med picks this way. I've gotten med drops. Uh, I do not recommend going for them unless you're in a dire situation. Unless your medic drops, I don't go for it. If my medic drops, I almost always go for it because you gotta force the medic here. Like we need the medic force if you can, and it's pretty essential to getting this. Another way I've done it is if I couldn't get it because they were actually looking up at me, sometimes players will actually look up, they know about this spot and they'll spot it. I won't go for it. I'll just go here and I'll look for the medic because a lot of the times the heavy will play here and he'll be opening the door, the demo will be here, the pyro will be looking forward. I've walked into this room and I mean I've just straight up walked at him and pistoled him down and forced him. So there are different ways to get forces, drops, etc. If your medic dies on first, that's the only time I really go for it on defense. Otherwise, I just sit and wait. Either there, here, just anywhere. And I like to call the rotates. The combo can play this point pretty much two ways, and the sniper rotation is very, very important to call. So I value being alive here when the point is capped instead of dying on cart. This is the major reason why I like to stay alive instead of dying. I want to be able to call if the sniper goes tunnel or if he goes up top. The other thing I want to call is that if the combo goes up top or if they go for a quick tunnel push. You basically need to be able to let your team know accordingly so they can rotate and be ready. If you aren't alive to do that, it makes it really hard for someone else in your team has to spot. Once we've entered this stage of the game where first point is capped, we're moving on to second. You'll be playing mostly in tunnel and sometimes in attic. But I will go over attack first. So on attack on second, I like to use this loadout right here. I actually like to use this loadout. I like to run Enforcer, Looks like it's bugging right now. I like to run Enforcer, Invis Watch, and Stock Knife or Spicicle. It doesn't really matter here. Basically, your main goal on a second attack is you want to be traveling through this tunnel and getting behind to the house or many other positions to shoot this gun down. Your primary objective is to kill the gun, and the Enforcer is great for that because it shoots through the regular armor. There's a couple different spots on second you can actually stand. You can stand on this windowsill if you jump into it and crouch. I can't do it anymore. Let's see, I'll try one more time. Yeah, you can stand on this windowsill and actually shoot through the windows of the gun on this platform. Uh, there's a couple other spots I use. Sometimes I'll just shoot it from the doorway if I can't really get it, if I don't want to get in that position. Sometimes I'll shoot it from back here. Sometimes I'll shoot it from really, really far away. You can shoot it from here. I usually don't like going farther away. Going closer is a little bit better. Using that bullet spread, because remember the Enforcer has bullet spread the more you spam it. So I like to, mitigate bullet spread. You can shoot it from here. This spot's pretty good. This spot's a little less known. I think this is used a little bit less. And a lot of the times what happens is as soon as you start shooting the Enforcer, the engineer will yell at his scout, and the scout will rotate to try and to clear you out of this house and kill you to prevent you from spamming the gun. So, mixing it up and actually using this spot sometimes can be pretty good. There is one more spot that is, worth knowing. I don't ever use it. I don't think it's that good, but you can actually get on this beam here by jumping on these, and you can shoot it from underneath through these cracks. I don't think this is worth it. I pretty much have never done this in a scrim because you kind of get mowed by this heavy here, and their flanks playing in the yard. But maybe you want to go up here and look for a drop down play on a scout or a flank member. So it's not bad. If you're not going for the gun, which is usually your primary objective, or maybe you've already killed the gun, some other things you can do is the first thing you should do, like on all points in Spy in general, this is pretty much the main theme of Spy, is you're going to be calling exactly where the sniper is. If he's in attic, you want to call him attic. If he's peeking from lower attic or like what is this? Like I don't know, the staircase or whatever, call him and he's in the bottom of attic peeking the tunnel. Sniper peeking tunnel from bottom attic is like the call I might use. Um, just calling sniper. Maybe he's over by the house or by mansion. I think it's called mansion or light bulb. If he's here, this is called light bulb, etc. The number one rule I use when I come onto this point is if the sniper is anywhere but attic. So for example, if he's in this back left corner or he's in the mansion, I immediately go straight to him. No hesitation, no waiting for any picks. The only time I don't go straight for the sniper is if we have to make a play on the gun right away. But this sniper is like, if he's alone, he should be dead to you. You should kill him no matter what. The sniper should not be allowed to play alone on this map. That's usually how I view it. There are some other things you can do if the sniper's playing on the staircase. A lot of the times you can kind of get away with decloaking right here and jumping around him and stabbing him, or he's playing in the doorway, you can kind of get away with getting behind him and going for the pick. If he's playing up here, I usually don't even risk going for this. You're pretty much never going to get this safely. It's not worth your time. Now, there are a couple other things you can do on the map. A bad engineer will actually have their teleporter out on this side instead of their other spawn door, and you can take it and look to make an aggressive play, maybe in downtime when we're building or something, and that's not a bad idea. And then one other thing you can do is if the medic is kind of alone, you can sometimes just kind of walk up here and shoot him and force him. Remember, the Enforcer at point blank with cloak disguise, or as a disguise, does like 70, and another shot's gonna hit him for 50. And I mean, he's in the red HP. He's gonna be scared, and he's probably gonna force to not drop there. So sometimes just running at the medic is a legitimate play. But usually the main goal is to get the gun. Basically, you want to be alive when the team's around 70% Uber. Your team's gonna say, We're about to take the Uber exchange. During the Uber exchange, your goal is to get the gun. If the gun's already dead, sometimes I'll make a play on the combo, coming from lower or walking across this bridge over here from the house, maybe disguise and then uncloaking around here. I will show you a couple other spots, a couple things that are special about this point on attack. This slope here can actually just run straight up if you hug the left side, which is pretty useful because you can come here cloaked, you can come around, you can jump the first small rock, or you can just hug hard or hold it left side, but I usually jump it and then just walk up and pick up the big pack. And continue going around, getting in a position you want to spam the gun, or maybe looking for the sniper, or just getting some cloak back here. If the gun is ever on this platform, it's pretty legit to just walk up and sap it, or even decloak behind it, sapping it. And you can usually get this sap off pretty guaranteed, I found, if the gun is placed far left. It's something that I don't do a great job of recognizing sometimes, but it's definitely available a lot. If the gun is further to the right, like maybe on this walkway, you're probably not going to get that sap off. It's a little too far away. It's probably not as good as just shooting it. But it's still an option. I don't usually like to sap the gun, but if it's in the middle of the platform and I know that sapping it is pretty viable, I can usually walk up and actually solo kill it through the Wrangler, sapping it and just shooting it with the Enforcer through the Wrangler is definitely an option and is pretty likely to have pretty good success rate, especially if you tell your soldier or your sniper to even just shoot one rocket or one sniper shot at it to do a little bit of extra damage. It really does help secure it. Outside of the sentry gun, you can use this platform to actually get to a pretty good position here outside the window. You can get really, really far on this platform here, almost completely disguised from the back side of it, where they can't really see you. The scary part about this spot is that the heavy normally plays at this window here. So, I mean, it's a little out of the way, but being here for like a pre-Uber exchange can be pretty good. You can kind of walk around and get this heavy pick if he's looking forward, and being here for post-Uber is also pretty strong. I've also have thought about maybe coming here and trying to come for the medic, just dropping in on him. But sometimes there's an Uber exchange, it's really chaotic, and I just straight up walk into this bottom of this house and I walk around looking for picks, and sometimes I walk up and get them. Sometimes our team is fighting out of main, the main entrance after the gun is down, and you can pretty much walk up here or really walk through this shutter door because now your combo's not here, so walking through here is pretty open. Um, Basically, I just try and kind of avoid where my combo's trading unless I think that they're going to be really distracted. Uh, Outside of playing in this yard, there's one more thing offensive spy can do on this point, and that is playing flank. Sometimes what'll happen is that I'll come here, as the attacking spy. I'll come around this corner. I usually cloak about right here, and the flank will be fighting pretty aggressively. So, I'll decloak in this corner. I'll look to get the flank kill. Maybe taking out the soldier or the scout's a really nice pick because it lets your flank, really work it, really push the cart. They get a big angle over here spamming, shooting the gun. It helps getting the gun pressure, and the flank is dead for about 20 seconds on this map. So anything you can do is spy on attack to get a flank kill is pretty helpful. So sometimes I'll do that. If there's not an urgency to get the gun, or I don't think I really want to go for like a combo pick inside here, or the sniper's not in a spot over there. So sometimes it's worth it to go for the flank picks, to choose them. All right, so now I will go over defense. Sorry, I had to get a sip of water there. Talking a lot. All right, for defense, again, I usually stick to Spicicle Revolver. The reason I run Spicicle over stock here is that the off chance a Pyro comes into the tunnel without his combo, or he is with his combo and you get flamed, you really don't want to die on defense here. You want to be able to be alive and call. Uh, this is where I think you might have the hardest time struggling with patience, but play this point properly, you got to have a lot of patience as a spy player. A lot of the times there's gonna be a sniper here, a soldier, a scout, and an engineer. And you're basically playing, sometimes even the spy will be here. I mean, they might even have 5 classes down here. And you as spy, you'll be basically the entire information, you'll be giving everything in this tunnel. A lot of the times your flank will be playing outside of the tunnel. All they see is the entrance. That's it. That's all they get to see. And sometimes they can't even peek it aggressively because there's a sniper holding it. So you're pretty much the lifeline of this tunnel hold early on, or really the entire time. The other thing you have to spot for is you have to spot if their combo is rotating away from attic and coming tunnel. I mean, it's very important that your demo can adjust from holding the attic up here because he's holding shutter the entire time, right? He's putting stickies, he's playing like the staircase lobbing stickies and holding the shutter door, and he needs to be able to hear their combos coming through tunnel, and he needs to rotate and be able to stick this off or even drop down and stick it off aggressively to delay their push and stop them from being able to push out of tunnel. So it's very, very, very important that you survive here and you don't die. Now, sometimes, and I think at lower level, I've used this a lot. I used this in advanced and I had a lot of success with it. I played not overly aggressive, but I played around my team really well. And I called in my flank and I said, hey, can you guys help me fight tunnel in a couple seconds? And they said, sure. And I said, okay, come in now. And I would decloak. Obviously, I would survey this room a little bit more to see everyone's positions, and I would stab the sniper, stab the soldier, and try and gun down the other flank. And usually I'd live, sometimes I'd die, but usually, almost every time, our flank was winning, and we would actually have a net advantage at the end of players. The only problem with that is, as soon as I died, uh, their players not only respawn faster than me because they're on attack, but their combo also had a chance to rotate, and their sniper was able to get in here before I could call him again, or maybe he could have gone attic instead, and I wouldn't be able to call him going away. So, rewatching those demos and rewatching some of my mentors' POVs, I think playing aggressive in this tunnel is usually not worth it. It's better just to be a pure information player, really let your team knows what's going on. You don't want to bait your flank to come in and make a mistake and then them both die in here. Now they're both dead. Instead, they could have just held out here, held together, played the HP packs, played the dispenser, etc., and held the the points. Now, there is a few dangerous spots that you cannot allow the sniper to get to when you're holding down here. If the sniper is able to get really, really aggressive out of here and peek this, that's really bad. It's not necessarily your job to kill him because most of the time you'll be spotting, from here. I really like spotting from right here because you can kind of see the rotate out and you can see the tunnel and you can adjust and, go here or even jump spot or see around it. But if the sniper gets really aggressive, you need to make sure it's communicated because your soldier and your scout can pretty much blow him up on this corner really hard. They can just jiggle peek it, that's a 100 damage rocket. A scout can 80 shot body, just meat shot him for 80. The sniper's not going to be able to sit here very long if he's communicated that he's there. If the sniper gets escorted side tunnel with the flank holding him, I sometimes would say that it might be very important for you to come over here and actually try and help get these kills. You really don't want the sniper to be side tunnel. I mean, this sightline here is monstrous. The sightline basically sees directly into your combo. I mean, your pyro's about to get headshot. Your heavy and your demo are about to be headshot from this angle. Your snipers can get caught off guard. Your medic can even get taken out if he even peeks his head up here a little bit. So, or has to drop down. So if the sniper ever gets side tunnel as spy, you need to make sure not only that it's communicated that he's here, which is very important why you need to be alive, because maybe you wipe both the flanks, but the sniper respawns, crosses this before your flank respawns, and you're alive. Walks over here, is able to have the full sight line, and takes a couple shots, and maybe he drops some key combo players that are holding up top. So I think the best way to play this point is to play pretty much very unengaging. You really just calm. You don't want to take any fights. I don't think fighting in the tunnel is worth it for the defense as a whole. but it takes a lot of discipline, and sometimes you just want to go for it, and sometimes you win them, and a lot of the times you win them if your communication and your teamwork is well. But the couple times you lose can actually be the determining factor why you lose the point. There is one thing I'll say about that. If the flank is dead and an Uber exchange is happening, so if you wipe their flank while the Uber exchange is happening, and let's say that our combo loses to their combo up here, it actually doesn't really matter that much. I mean, it's not good obviously, but it doesn't matter that much because they have no cart pressure. Remember, I talked about cart pressure earlier and how important it is. If they have no cart presence because you wiped their flank while the combo was fighting up top, then they can't capture this point before your team respawns. So it's sometimes, maybe I prioritize fighting flank when the Ubers are exchanging. Maybe that's the time to go in and decide if you think it's worthwhile to fight in the tunnel. As soon as I'm about to call the Ubers are exchanging or the Ubers are coming, it can be worth it. Now, if you don't think the flank is, if your flank's not having an issue, or maybe their sniper's not very playing very well, or just in general the flank is pretty well under control, or you have, just a intuition to go for it, you can actually rotate through here before the Ubers are exchanged, and or while they're being exchanged, and you can walk here and you can try and stab the heavy that's holding the door. He has to hold this door open for his medic and combo to leave. And you can actually pick this heavy while he's backing out and end up trapping the medic in here where he's going to get wiped. And we're going to have a pretty strong Uber advantage again. So that can be really strong to rotate sometimes for, and something that I need to do more when I play this map. It's definitely something to look at. Rotating here, you're playing here, I don't know, your combo, we should be tracking Uber pretty well. You can even spot it sometimes. You can say, okay, and I'm gonna go here. They're not really pushed up in flank. The cart's pretty far back. It got pushed back to like here. You know what? I'm gonna rotate, and I'm gonna go look for this play. I see the sniper. He's going flank. You call it, and you just walk up here, and you scout it out, and you decloak, and you look for the picks on the heavy and trap them in. It can be very good. Second point is a lot more patient oriented, and you'll learn that payload spy is a lot of calming and picking the spots really, really minutely. You don't want to have a lot of interactions of forcing things because it just gives you more chances to mess up. And Spy is almost better alive than dead. The one for one trade with Sniper here is not worth it. The only time I think the Sniper one for one trade, or even like a Sniper and an NG trade for your life is worth it, is if cart pressure is really important to get rid of, or if the sniper's in a really, really dangerous spot, like being in this side tunnel over here, peeking this angle. Like, this might be worth your life. This might be worth trading. I think it is. Because you don't want the sniper to be here. It's really crucial that he's not able to peek this angle. If the sniper's like, peeking back here, like, this isn't really dangerous. I mean, this looks at maybe our flanco every once in a while. He's not even looking at our combo or our snipers, so this isn't really dangerous, and it's not worth your life to, say, oh, look, there's a sniper here. He looks pretty alone. Their flank's kind of running around. The NG's not back yet. I'm going to go for him. But, you might stab him and get that kill and get away, 7 times out of 10, but the 3 times you stab him and you get caught out by this soldier spinning and, double rocketing you and trapping you in this small space, or like the scouts chasing you with meat shots, it's not worth it. And I think when we end up watching my demo, you'll see that I go for a lot of plays like that, and eventually they stop working, or I make a mistake and we die, and it's pretty detrimental. But yeah, defense spy is a lot of patience. For spots on defense spy, I prefer this one. Sometimes you'll run out of cloak, and you gotta just manage low cloak on C&D and like play spots like this. Just try and play out of walking pathways, play for coverage. And the more you play C&D Spy, the more you'll actually recognize when players are a threat to hitting you and when they're not, and you'll get better at it. Sometimes I play here, being able to spot the pure entrance, seeing where players are coming from. If I think I can spawn camp a sniper here, like maybe I think he's all alone, I know the flank's super deep, I might actually go for him. I want to rotate quickly to the attic hold, to camping the attic spot. I'll play like down here and just spot. I can see, not only see I can see who's coming to the staircase, I can also see who's in the attic. If there's a heavy block in the doorway actually blocking it, then I'm not gonna engage on it. But as soon as I see him, kind of walk away or go for like, go to hold the door open, maybe I'll go in and go for him. Yeah, that's defense spy on second. That's second point. I'm going to take a break here and record the other half later, so I will cut it at the end.